Hello everyone, it is Friday, April 21st, couple days past New Comic Book Day, and I've been real busy, new job, and baseball and taking care of things at the shop, so I thought, you know what, I got a couple of minutes right now, let me knock out a video and show you what I picked up this past week, and then have a discussion, a small discussion afterwards. So, first things first, first book, Zombie Tramp number 34, Dan Mendoza, still a hot book. A lot of people come into the shop after the fact, especially Midwest and Hawaii, come in looking for Zombie Tramp because, again, all the covers are limited covers, between 2,000 and 2,500 copies per cover. And again, we've said this a million times, there's not a whole lot of room for multiple copies in other states. So when people come here, since Mendoza is from Las Vegas has a lot of the books, and people come here to try to grab them. So another cover here, 34 Zombie Tramp, and clothed 34 Zombie Tramp. Harley Quinn Rebirth 18, cover A. Hot book this week, hot book, Batman 21 Rebirth. Couple of different covers on this one. Let's pick those out and show you. They had the regular cover here, and then the linear cover here. I don't know if you can see that, it kind of changes. Flash, the Batman. This was selling really, really good. $2.99 on the regular cover, $3.99 on the linear cover. Really good storyline. If you haven't read it, take a look at it. Couple of exciting things happening in that book. I think are going to break off into some additional storylines, so you might want to grab some of these. Here's another cover of it, 21. And what I thought was a pretty nice cover. Batman and Flash on the cover, of course, all ties into what goes on in the Batman Rebirth 21. Venom number 6, really nice cover. Hot book, God Country number 4, cover A. Cover B, of course, this book is still selling really, really well with the first, with number 1s and number 2s. Doing a good job. Of course, number 1 fourth print came out, and a lot of shops are offering only 1 per customer. I don't think the fourth prints are going to be worth a whole lot. Of course, the first and second prints are holding value and were a really good investment for the people who are able to grab those. New from Image, this is plastic. Number 1, they had 3 different covers. This is the one cover I wanted. That was it on that. And then the hot book, I'm sure you've looked at all this. I've mentioned it to some customers at the shop. And this was also from Image, and this is Redneck number 1. Super limited, good storyline. And this book, the day it came out, was already selling for $10 to $12. And a lot of shops didn't have this book. I was able to pick up a few copies of this book, which I'm going to put away. So if you don't know, jump on that, Redneck number 1. I think it's going to be a really good book, and it's selling really good because it is super limited. Secret Empire 0, kind of an origin of why Captain America became part of Hydra. Good story, pretty nice looking book. Shops had a lot of them. I think people bought a lot of those with the anticipation that the Hydra storyline was going to be a good seller for them. So I picked one of those up just to put it away. Really nice cover, though. I like the cover of that book. You can't see on the glare. Rebirth Trinity number 8. Batwoman 2. And with the exception of Redneck, the hot seller was the Harley Quinn 18 Cho variant right there, where she is in the older costume, looking at the new costume in the window. For some reason, I just had a gut feeling on this. One of my customers, Jeremy, also mentioned it, and I think that is going to be pretty hot, a fairly hot cover to pick up. Like I said, Cho was popular anyways with people, and this is his cover on this, and so it's actually a pretty nice looking cover. So there is the new books I picked up right there. So again, Redneck and the Harley Quinn Cho are my choices for the 2 hot books this week. Couple things I wanted to discuss real quick. I've had a lot of customers coming into the shop new that have been watching the videos. So as always, I do appreciate the support I get on the videos. We did surpass 1,000 subscribers, and that is really big. And the shop space is coming along really good. We're able to incorporate, we're trying to incorporate more and more into the shop. It is a slow process because again, I don't spend all day at the shop. I have a job, and then I'm a high school baseball coach, like a lot of you know. And my wife and my son do a good job of being at the shop. And my wife is the one who sets up a lot of the way the layouts are and comes up with the color schemes. So that goes really, really well. So I do appreciate that. I have noticed a lot of new people coming into the shop in the last week and a half. And so thank you. It's all I can say. So customer brought in a graded book today. This is something I wanted to touch bases on. Everybody knows my feeling on graded books, either CGC, PGX, or CBCS. And this new customer today came in, and he showed me a graded book he got, 9.8, and I believe it was a Fables #1, if I remember correctly. And he asked me to look at it and give him a grade through the case and see if I thought it was a 9.8. And again, like I stated in past videos, if you want me to look at your books, I'll be more than happy to look at your books and give you grades on them. I don't have an issue doing that. My grades are pretty accurate, and this guy came in and said, hey, you know what, I've been watching your videos, and I was wondering if you can take a look at it for me. So first thing I noticed is that it was separated from the right side of the book, about 3/4 of it down. So basically, if this was the case, from basically here all the way down was separated off, and the bottom was separated off to about here. Now, when I see something like that on a graded book, I immediately say, you know what, the case has been cracked, the 9.8 book has been pulled out, and they have placed a lesser grade book in its place, and to make money and to scam people, because unfortunately there are a lot of unscrupulous buyers and sellers out there who will do anything for a quick buck. So I look at the book, I show him, I turn on my big light, and I have a nice bright light, and I have a magnifying loupe, and we're looking at everything. And the first thing you see is a crease, on one corner, a really bad crease. You see a dented corner on another part of the book. You flip the book over and look at the back side of the book, and you see the same thing. You see another crease on the book, and immediately, this book is not a 9.8. The book is not the book that was sent in to be graded. Because even with CGC and PGX and CBCS in their way of grading, there's no way any one of them would have mistaken this book for a 9.8. So I told the guy, unfortunately, this is not a 9.8. I hope you didn't pay a whole lot of money for it. And he said, well, he can get his money back. So I said, be sure to send it and get your money back, because this is not a 9.8. Especially when the case is broken. Now, he stated that, he showed me a picture of the box that came in, and the box was crushed a little bit. Okay, if the box is crushed and it causes damage to the case is going to be cracked, or one of the corners is going to be chipped out. None of that was the case. This was just separated out. So it looks like someone pried it open, pulled the book out, and put a different book in there. So, be careful when you're buying things online. If you get books like that and they come in and you see them separated, immediately send it back. You should videotape if you buy a high-end book. When you open the book, I've gotten to the, in the habit of, when I get a package in the mail and I'm opening up books, I know there's going to be expensive books in there. I'll videotape it when I open it up, because if there's nothing in there, I want video proof that there was nothing in there. So PayPal can't say, you switched the book, or it's easier to deal with when you're dealing with the seller when you dispute the charge. So, just be careful with that. So separated books, separated cases, no matter what company, is no good. So the other thing we were talking about, I was talking to a customer, and he was talking about the conventions. He mentioned a couple videos ago, I talked about comic conventions and how they're kind of being saturated because there's so many of them out there. It's no longer, you're not excited about them anymore because there's just so many of them going out there, either Southern California, Nevada here. We're not that big in Las Vegas, and we have 4 or 5 a year, which is overkill. And the one thing we saw says, what's the biggest overkill you see? And it is Stan Lee signing autographs. Now, Stan Lee is iconic. He's a legend. He has earned everything he gets in the industry because he is the reason that a lot of us have fallen in love with the characters, because he put the stamp on the superheroes. I get that. I understand that. But Stan Lee has become the Pete Rose of comic conventions. He signs everything. Stan Lee is in his 90s. He signs 1,000 books. I looked at it today with a customer in the shop, and currently on eBay, when I looked this afternoon, there were 5,506 items on eBay that had been signed by Stan Lee. 5,506. That is not a rare signature. Everybody has something signed by Stan Lee. Stan Lee is at the twilight of his career. His signature is really bad right now. He is, I mean, we talk about Frank Miller and his signatures. Frank Miller, I think, charges $150 for a signature at conventions now. And he has just a squiggle line signature. I have a couple of books in my shop that are signed by Frank Miller, and it's the 80s Frank Miller signature, which is the F looks like a 7, and it's a cleaner signature. You can read the signature. Stan Lee's earlier signatures were very clear. Stan Lee, now, you know, the way he signs, his age, the hand, everything just kind of runs together. It looks like, you know, you can make out the S, the T kind of sticks together. It's not a very attractive signature. Why would you want to put an ugly signature on an iconic book? Just because it's Stan Lee. You want a nice Stan Lee signature, you can buy tons of books on eBay and get a Stan Lee signature that are CGC certified, CDCS certified, or whatever. So, you know, I just think that there comes a time, I mean, Bernie Wrightson didn't sign a lot of signatures, and no one talks about Bernie Wrightson. He is iconic in the 70s comic book industry, and he had a beautiful signature even to the very end. And he didn't do a lot of signatures. There's a lot less Bernie Wrightson stuff than there is Stan Lee. Now, of course, they're at different levels, but how valuable is the signature when there are thousands of them out there? It doesn't become a rarity. When Pete Rose was doing signatures in the 80s, he was getting $125 for a signature. You know, you can sell his stuff. It meant something. There's so many Pete Rose signatures out there now. You can pick them up for 20 bucks, 15 bucks. I don't want the same thing to happen to the Stan Lee signatures. I don't have any Stan Lee signatures. I have no interest in having Stan Lee signatures because there's so many out there. I know it's going to be very easy to pick them up in, you know, 5-6 years. So there's that. Again, kind of a quick video, not a you know, super video. Just wanted to kind of show the books and just kind of throw a couple of things out there. Again, I appreciate all the viewers. I appreciate the 1,000 subscribers. We're going to continue to do more and more videos. It's going to be a little hectic in the next week because I'm starting the new job and baseball season's coming to an end. So if you have a chance and you're in Las Vegas, please stop by, see the shop. You don't have to buy anything. Just come and say hello. We appreciate that. Arkham Comics and Collectibles inside the Bonanza Indoor Swap Meet here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. So I hope you liked the video, but if you didn't, as always, nothing I can do for you. I hope you have a really good night.